Hi, this is Acme with the US Chartbreakers here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Friday, the 5th of September. Starting off with the S&P, which has had a couple of, a few decent markers on the upside. The first one is bouncing above the floor of the rising trend channel there from back in April. I suppose the red line there, mid-channel line, so that's around 63 to 30. We also had a gap close buy signal on Wednesday, so above the 64.44 level, 45 maybe, and then pushing ahead today, or rather yesterday. The other point, which is positive, is the way that we've had double RSI 50 plus rebounds in the recent past. The first one, obviously, second one, obviously, this week. And looking for this market to head to the top of the channel there, 6,700, maybe as soon as the end of this month, but certainly by the end of next month, even though obviously October is not exactly known as being the strongest month of the year. But if you rise during those months, it tends to mean that you are off to the races, and that may be even more the case given the way that we had that massive rug pull back in April when it looked like the world was going to end. While we're above the 50-day line there at 63.40, looking for the upside, but otherwise a potential rug pull area 6,200 at worst for this market. Next up is the Nasdaq, and here Nasdaq 100 here. It's all about trying to get back towards the 24,000 zone, the top of that channel there from April up to 24,500. That's what we're hoping for by the end of this month. While we remain above the 50-day line there, 23,172, and the floor of that rising April trend channel. The worst on the downside at the moment seen as being 22,600, which is post July support. The other point to note is that we've had RSI rebounds, but below neutral 50, which is always rather strange. But perhaps that shows even more that this is a bullish situation if the market can rebound after that. Moving on to the stocks, and starting off with a situation called American Eagle, which some people may have heard of in the recent past. Here you can see that we got the stock shooting ahead in the recent past through the top of the broadening triangle there at $15.30. Above that, we're looking for target as high as $23 by the end of next month, which is the upper parallel of that broadening triangle base. You can see that we've had multiple RSI 50 plus rebounds for the shares since the beginning of August, and we've also broken back above the 200-day line, $13.14. So the idea of further gains seem to be pretty strong there. Moving on to the situation at Bone Biologics, where here we've got broadening triangle base. You can see that the top of the triangle there up to $5.22. That's what we're looking for by the end of next month, especially given the way that we managed to close above the 50-day line at $2.79. The longer we stay, or the more end of closes we have above that, the greater the chance of retesting June resistance for this stock. At this stage, only back below yesterday's intraday support there, around $2.50, really delaying the upside scenario, which could still revive itself, has to be admitted. On to Duluth, and here we've had shares very kindly telling us where the top of the channel is, which is basically the October resistance line there, heading for $4.70. Looking for that, at least another attempt on that, while we're above the resistance on the way down around the $3.20 level. Hopefully that will be enough in terms of support for the stock. On to a stock which has been an absolute flyer in the recent past, HWH, and here we've hit the top of, the second target there. We had around $7.60. And looking with the shares to remain above Wednesday's resistance of $5.40 to then give us a retest of the $7.50 or $8 area over the course of the next week or two. Next up is a situation which hopefully will have some decent legs, if I can type it out properly, which is Inno Holdings. We've already looked at this recently, and looking at it again now, we can see that we had a mid consolidation breakout. The top of the rising trend channel shown there as being $12.50 or so, but in fact, one could argue it's a little bit higher than that, up to $14, which is what we're looking for by the end of next month, while we remain above recent resistance around the $7.20 area, which was the late August resistance for this situation. LightInTheBox is next, and here Got a rising trend channel base, not a very steeply rising trend channel base, but we've gapped up through the recent resistance around $1.50. Above that, looking for the top of the range and the top of the channel there, to $2.20, hopefully by the end of this month or even sooner. Masonglory is next, and here it's been a case of, we've actually got quite a new chart here, or at least new price action. Top of the channel there at $27. We're looking for that by the end of this month, while we remain above the initial September resistance, which was precisely $14.59.9. So hopefully that will happen on an end of day close basis, so we can head up to the $27 area by the end of September. Covered the next stock quite recently, or very recently, which hopefully will be shown up if I can go to the right market, which is Novabay. Here you can see that we've had a decent push through the first target area, which was around the $3.15 level. Above that, we're looking for the upper parallel of that rising trend channel from April, heading as high as $5.40, and looking for that by the end of this month. Ideally, I suppose we stay on the right side of $3.50 while we are attempting to do that. Another humdinger of a situation coming up next, which is SuperX AI. Got all the right names in there. Here we're on our fifth target, which is towards $70, and nearly touched it yesterday again. I suppose the name of the game now is actually trying to work out what the next target will be, and that looks as though it could be the line I'm drawing at the moment, which would be towards the $90 area, $91 by the end of the month. But ideally, we stay above. Whatever happens, we stay above the low 50s at a stretch, and ideally above the low 60s, which was the initial resistance towards the end of last month. Finishing off with a stock which is possibly a little less lively, which is Smartkem, but broadening triangle base here. Nice consolidation above recent resistance around the $1.25 level, and the longer we stay above that, the greater the chance of a move to the top of the broadening triangle there at $3.10. Hoping for that by the end of next month. That's it for me today. More updates over the weekend.